this is how we keep the minnows population sustainable. We use a grater. So this is one trap here. There's about 10 dozen in there. And they go in the grater and the smaller ones just swim out. And the keepers stay inside the grater. And in the springtime like this is early May. We go with a bigger grater because the minnows are much easier to catch. And it allows us to let everything else besides, an 18 is basically a large minnow and up. So when it's done, you can give it a little shake here. I try to get them down here on one side. Into the bucket, and I know it. There you go. I'll show you the picture of the inside of the bucket here. So inside of the bucket, you always have a bit of bread, but those are the size minnows that we get though. So that's a large minnow and up and bigger in there. What are you on, Kenny? So Kenny's a lot taller than me, so we got to dump him into the holding tank. And then from there we have an aerator that we run to get them back into town alive with lots of air in them. So you got to keep the lid on it because they'll jump out. He's going to put a bit more water in it. It's nice to trap minnows in the spring because the water's cold. You got her?
Yeah. And there's no flies.
And there's no flies, yeah. Which doesn't last too long.
Yeah.
It usually starts about the long weekend or so. So when the water's really cold like this, we don't really have to get the aerator going right away. But eventually when we get like a gallon or so of minnows, then you have to get the aerator in there. There you go. So that's a minnow grater. Those are ones originally, hey Kenny, we got them in Dallas, Texas, I think, eh? Or Houston, Texas or somewhere? Texas.
Yeah, the graters.
Texas somewhere,
I
yeah.
got them from there, but you can get them there off Canada.
Different places now, yeah.
So we're trying something a little different this year. We went out and we got longer traps and a little bit wider traps. And we're learning where to trap and where not to trap. And we've been pretty successful lately. Right now we're using liver, but I was using fish, and it was just as successful as the liver. So, and of that, there's, I don't know, there's like maybe 5, 6, maybe 8 dozen there, but there's lots of small ones. So we'll go through all that, and there's probably more than 8 dozen there.
So don't fall in the pond and lay there too long.
Yeah. Not overnight.
Unless you want to lose weight, I guess. So that's one fold.
The other fold isn't quite as much, but still
stacked in the bottom there.
Yeah, you're still talking, I don't know,
3-4 dozen anyway.
Yeah, on that side.
They get the liver out on us. They kind of, they don't do as well. They take off. And that's just the backside with no bait. There's a good dozen in that one.
there you go. Out of that trap, I don't know, maybe you can maybe 20 dozen, maybe more. Every once in a while, is it on?
Yeah.
They stick on you too. They don't hurt. We'll let them go. That's next year's. We try and use paper clips, and I try and clip it on one end so that the cord doesn't get loose and flop all over and get tangled with the other ones. And when I go to put the meat in them, I'll just take this middle one out, spread it, put my meat inside, clip it back up, and take my float off. So it goes relatively quick. I'll do that at the truck, and then I'll go out and I'll set them out as I go.
So he'll pre-bait all the traps at the truck and then just walk down and start placing them wherever you want.
Where I can. If I'm in the boat and have to reset, well, that's a little different, but...
See, and that was just the ones that were on the backside there.
So look at this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nice. So it looks really easy right now, and this is the time of year that it's good, but as the water warms up, it gets harder and harder. So this is the best of times. And we're heading for the worst of times. So you try to get a quantity of leeches ahead, because they store very well in the fridge, but later on in the season they're not as easy to catch. Got one on the ground here, back in the pond. And we're trying them all black. Seems black's the best color.
So there we go. That was 8 traps, and I bet you we got as much as we had any other time.
Yeah. Now they're not graded yet, so probably half of them might go back in the pond, but that's kind of where we're at. The sorting table. Take out the bloodsuckers.
It's really big, and you go, oh man, I hope that's a leech.
And
that's a bloodsucker.
Is there too many on the table, or what do you do?
Yeah, no, I don't usually sort them like this.
Oh, okay.
You did not have this many bloodsuckers in your last batch. Anyway, so what I typically do is leave one tray full of it. Just take a small amount and then start sorting.
Not only do you catch them, but you have to sort them out. They're awesome.
Yeah. When I started, I couldn't really tell them apart. And then you started getting paid for having the right ones, and you figured it out real quick.
There you go. So the bigger the leech, the better. Small ones we bring back to the pond. So we just made it back. We're way down the creek there. And that's a number 18 grader, and it's probably got at least 3 gallons of minnows in it. So that's a pretty good lift. We had to work hard for this because we went down 3 beaver dams. We were about a kilometer down the creek there. And he's just trying to set up the, we had some in the tank already. There you go.